Learn English through story. The Whispering Walls. In the small, forgotten town of Eldridge, there stood an old mansion, long abandoned and shrouded in local lore. Its crumbling walls were marked with ivy and vines, and the windows, boarded up and grimy, seemed to hide secrets of a bygone era. The mansion, known to the townsfolk as Hawthorne Manor, had once been a grand estate belonging to the Hawthorne family, wealthy industrialists whose fortune had mysteriously vanished along with their heirs. Legends whispered of ghostly apparitions and strange happenings within its decaying walls, which many claimed echoed with the unspoken desires and regrets of those who had lived there. Among the curious souls drawn to the mansion was Eleanor Blackwood, a local historian with an insatiable thirst for the past. Eleanor had spent years collecting stories about Eldridge and its inhabitants, hoping to unearth the mysteries buried in the town's history. The tales of Hawthorne Manor intrigued her more than any others. She had heard about the family's tragic downfall, the whispered accusations of betrayal, and the rumors of lost treasures hidden within the walls. The more she learned, the more she felt compelled to explore the mansion herself. One crisp autumn afternoon, armed with a flashlight and a notebook, Eleanor decided it was time to venture into the depths of Hawthorne Manor. The townsfolk had long since avoided the place, but Eleanor was not afraid. She viewed the manor as a puzzle, one she was determined to solve. The heavy iron gate creaked open as she stepped onto the overgrown path leading to the entrance. The air was thick with anticipation, a strange mixture of excitement and trepidation. As she crossed the threshold, the smell of mildew and decay filled her nostrils. Dust motes danced in the shafts of light that managed to filter through the cracks in the boarded-up windows. The foyer was vast, with a grand staircase spiraling upwards, its banister worn and splintered. Cobwebs hung like curtains in the corners, and the floorboards creaked under her weight, announcing her presence in the silence. Eleanor pulled out her flashlight, the beam illuminating faded portraits of the Hawthorne family that lined the walls. Their expressions seemed to follow her as she moved, eyes full of secrets. She felt an unsettling sensation, as if the house itself was alive, breathing in the whispers of its past inhabitants. Determined to document everything, she began her exploration, moving from room to room, each one more haunting than the last. The first room she entered was a grand parlor, its once opulent furnishings now draped in dust and neglect. The wallpaper peeled in long strips, and the chandeliers hung low, covered in layers of grime. As Eleanor walked around, she could almost hear the laughter and music that had once filled the space. She imagined the grand parties, the clinking of glasses, and the whispers of scandal that had surely echoed here. Suddenly, a soft sound caught her attention, a faint whisper, barely audible, as if the walls themselves were speaking. Eleanor paused, her heart racing. She turned her head, trying to locate the source of the sound, but all she could hear was the soft rustling of leaves outside. Shaking off the unease, she continued her exploration, but the whispers lingered in her mind. In the library, Eleanor found stacks of old books covered in dust, their spines cracked and faded. She ran her fingers over the titles, feeling the weight of history in her hands. As she pulled a book from the shelf, a hidden compartment behind the wall creaked open, revealing a small, dusty diary. Intrigued, she opened it, her eyes scanning the delicate handwriting inside. The diary belonged to Amelia Hawthorne, the last daughter of the Hawthorne family. As Eleanor read Amelia's thoughts, she was drawn into the young woman's world, a world filled with longing, love, and despair. Amelia wrote of her unfulfilled dreams, the pressure to marry well, and her deep desire for freedom. The words resonated with Eleanor, echoing her own struggles as a woman in a world that often felt constraining. But as she continued reading, the tone of the diary shifted. Amelia began to write about her growing discontent with her family, her father's controlling nature, and the mysterious disappearance of her brothers. Eleanor felt a chill run down her spine. Amelia's words hinted at dark secrets buried within the family a connection to the whispers that had haunted Eleanor since she entered the manor. Suddenly, the whispering grew louder, almost insistent, swirling around her like a cold wind. Eleanor's heart raced as she closed the diary, her instincts urging her to leave, but curiosity kept her rooted to the spot. She felt drawn to uncover the truth, to understand the pain and longing that echoed through the walls. That evening, Eleanor returned home, the diary clutched tightly in her hands. She couldn't shake the feeling that she had tapped into something deeper, a well of emotions that transcended time. That night, she pored over the diary, captivated by Amelia's struggles and desires. As the clock struck midnight, Eleanor's mind swirled with thoughts of the mansion, of the family that had once thrived within its walls, and of the whispers that beckoned her back. The following day, she returned to Hawthorne Manor, determined to explore further. This time, she felt a strange connection to the house, as if it were guiding her steps. As she wandered through the dimly lit rooms, she began to piece together the fragments of Amelia's life. The whispers grew more pronounced, echoing her thoughts and emotions, urging her to uncover the truth. In the master bedroom, she found an ornate mirror that had once been beautifully gilded. Its surface was clouded with age, but when Eleanor looked closely, she could see faint reflections of a woman standing behind her. The figure was ethereal, with long hair and a flowing gown, but it vanished as quickly as it appeared. Eleanor felt a shiver run down her spine, and the whispers grew louder, wrapping around her like a cocoon. "Help me," a voice pleaded, barely audible amidst the swirling sounds. Eleanor's heart raced as she realized the voice belonged to Amelia. She pressed her palms against the cool glass, feeling the energy pulsate beneath her touch. "What do you want from me?" she whispered, half terrified, half entranced. "Find the truth," the voice urged, echoing through the walls. "Unravel the secrets that bind us." Determined, Eleanor searched the room for clues. Behind a loose floorboard, she discovered a small locket containing a faded photograph of Amelia and a man Eleanor did not recognize. The look in Amelia's eyes was one of longing and love, a stark contrast to the sorrow she had read about in the diary. The whispers intensified, urging her to dig deeper. Eleanor spent days in the mansion, deciphering the layers of Amelia's life. She learned of a forbidden love affair between Amelia and a local artist named Gabriel, a man from a modest background whom her father disapproved of. Their love was passionate, but fraught with danger. As Amelia's family sought to control her every move, the whispers revealed fragments of their clandestine meetings, stolen moments filled with dreams of escape. But as Eleanor delved deeper into the romance, she stumbled upon darker secrets. The diary hinted at the tragic fate of Amelia's brothers, who had vanished without a trace. The townsfolk had whispered of betrayal, of a family torn apart by greed and jealousy. Eleanor's heart raced as she pieced together the puzzle, understanding that Amelia's family had not only silenced her dreams but had also concealed a tragedy that lingered within the walls of the manor. One night, as Eleanor sat in the library, surrounded by the fading light of dusk, the whispers crescendoed into a chaotic chorus, filled with anguish and despair. She felt a sudden urge to confront the past, to seek the truth behind Amelia's brother's disappearance. The air crackled with energy, as if the very walls were alive with the weight of unspoken words. Determined to find answers, Eleanor began her search in the town archives. She pored over old newspaper clippings, family records, and local lore. The more she learned, the more tangled the web of secrets became. The Hawthorne family had once been pillars of the community, but their fortune had crumbled amidst scandals and accusations. Eleanor discovered that Amelia's brothers had been involved in shady business dealings, leading to their eventual disappearance. Shrouded in rumors of betrayal and greed, Eleanor's heart raced as she connected the dots. The whispers in the manor were not merely echoes of the past. They were cries for justice, a plea for the truth to be revealed. She felt a surge of determination wash over her as she returned to the mansion, ready to confront the shadows that had haunted Amelia for so long. As she stepped into the grand foyer, the atmosphere was charged with energy. The whispers wrapped around her like a cloak, guiding her towards the hidden truths of the manor. She felt a deep connection to Amelia, as if the young woman were walking beside her, urging her forward. In the master bedroom, Eleanor stood before the mirror once more, feeling the weight of history pressing down on her. "I will find the truth," she promised, her voice steady. "I will uncover what happened to you and your family." Suddenly, the whispers turned frantic, swirling around her like a tempest. She felt a rush of emotions: fear, desperation, and longing as the walls seemed to pulsate with energy. Eleanor closed her eyes, reaching out to the spirit of Amelia, feeling a connection that transcended time. "Help me," Amelia's voice echoed, filled with a mixture of hope and despair. "You must reveal the truth before it is lost forever." Eleanor's heart raced as she sensed the urgency in Amelia's plea. With newfound determination, she searched the room for any remaining clues. In the corner, she noticed a loose floorboard, just as she had before. With trembling hands, she pried it open, revealing a hidden compartment filled with letters and documents, correspondence between Amelia and Gabriel, and records detailing the family's business dealings. As she sifted through the papers, Eleanor discovered evidence of betrayal and deception. The letters revealed a plot to discredit Amelia's brothers, orchestrated by their own father, who had sought to protect the family's name at all costs. Eleanor felt a surge of anger and sorrow for Amelia, who had been trapped in a web of lies and deceit. Determined to share what she had uncovered, Eleanor returned to town, her heart racing with a mix of fear and excitement. She gathered a small group of townsfolk, those who still cared about the history of Eldridge and the truth of the Hawthorne family. With each word she spoke, she felt the weight of Amelia's legacy on her shoulders, the urgency to set things right. As Eleanor recounted the story of Amelia and her family, the townsfolk listened in rapt attention. The whispers had come alive in her voice, echoing through the gathering, weaving a tapestry of emotions that resonated with their own experiences of love and loss. The truth began to unfurl, unveiling the hidden threads that had bound the community in silence for so long. With each revelation, the townsfolk felt a shift in the air, a sense of liberation. They realized that the whispers of the past were not just echoes, but a call to reclaim their history, to honor the lives that had been lost in the shadows. The truth about the Hawthorne family, once buried beneath layers of secrecy, began to emerge, breathing life into the stories that had shaped Eldridge. As the days turned into weeks, Eleanor continued her quest for justice, working alongside the townsfolk to uncover the full extent of the Hawthorne family's history. Together, they delved into old records, interviewed residents, and pieced together the fragmented stories of the past. The whispers that had haunted the manor transformed into a chorus of voices, urging them forward. Eleanor discovered that Gabriel had survived, living a quiet life in a nearby town, burdened by the loss of Amelia and the family's dark legacy. Determined to bring him into the light, she tracked him down, her heart pounding with anticipation. When she finally met Gabriel, she was struck by the weight of his sorrow. His eyes held a depth of longing and regret, the remnants of a love that had been silenced. Eleanor shared Amelia's story with him, recounting the secrets that had bound them and the truth that had been revealed. As she spoke, the whispers in her mind transformed into a melody of hope, echoing the possibility of redemption. With tears in his eyes, Gabriel listened, the burden of years lifting from his shoulders. "I never stopped loving her," he whispered, his voice choked with emotion. "I always believed we would find a way back to each other." Eleanor felt a surge of empathy for the man who had loved Amelia so fiercely, and in that moment, she understood the power of their connection. It was not just a love story. It was a testament to the strength of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, love could shine through the shadows. Together, they returned to Eldridge, ready to confront the past and honor Amelia's memory. The townsfolk gathered, their faces filled with hope and anticipation. Eleanor and Gabriel stood before them, ready to share the truth that had been buried for far too long. As they spoke, the walls of Hawthorne Manor seemed to breathe with life, resonating with the stories that had been silenced. The whispers transformed into a symphony of voices, echoing the struggles, the desires, and the dreams of those who had come before. The mansion, once a place of sorrow, became a beacon of hope, a reminder that the past could be reclaimed, and the bonds of love could transcend time. In the weeks that followed, the town rallied around Eleanor and Gabriel's efforts to honor Amelia and her family. They organized a memorial, a celebration of love and truth, to commemorate the lives lost and the stories shared. The whispers of the past had transformed into a legacy that would be woven into the fabric of Eldridge, a reminder of the power of love, redemption, and the importance of embracing one's history. As Eleanor stood in front of the crowd, surrounded by the beauty of the autumn leaves, she felt a profound sense of gratitude. The walls of Hawthorne Manor had whispered their secrets, and she had listened. The truth had emerged from the shadows, and the town was healing, reclaiming its narrative. In that moment, Eleanor understood that the whispers would never truly fade. They would continue to echo through the walls, a reminder of the love that had once flourished, the dreams that had been stifled, and the resilience of the human spirit. And as she looked out at the faces of her fellow townsfolk, she knew that they would carry those whispers forward, ensuring that the legacy of the Hawthorne family would never be forgotten. With the sun setting behind her, casting a warm glow over the gathering, Eleanor felt a sense of closure and peace. The story of Hawthorne Manor had come full circle, woven into the tapestry of Eldridge, forever entwined with the desires, regrets, and hopes of those who had lived, loved, and whispered within its walls. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoy, then please like and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel.